but I'm just going to be hanging out for a while. Got to try and get this shed cleaned up. I've been trying to get it done for an interminable, unacceptable amount of time. So, yeah, it's just got to be done. And so it's going to be. So currently I'm having my after supper smoke and coffee, and then I'll be getting to work. And also I kind of feel bad that I haven't been making content, so yeah, it's kind of like that. Dear God, it is far too humid to be wearing this heavy sweater. One moment, I'll be right back. And of course now I'm having a slight wardrobe issue. That being that I'm not properly wardrobed. If I could afford a wardrobe, I'd be quite happy. Because I wouldn't pay a wardrobe person. I'd just be me. And I see I have somebody watching and one like. Must be Stormy. Hello, Stormy. And Prime Knight. Hello. So yeah, nothing terribly exciting today. And just going to be frigging around a bit. Mostly just reorganizing things. Pittering and puttering. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just... excuse me. It's just a question of getting everything kind of sorted out. I really can't be piling things on the table. I need to move first. And I need to clear that surface off first as well. Okay. So yeah, I'm slightly disorganized. Thank you for the second like. I'm going to assume that was Prime. I'm still only showing one viewer, which is kind of strange, but yeah, I know there are two of you in chat. And of course the weather decides now to fog up again. Because why wouldn't it? What I wouldn't give for a good Alberta thunderstorm right now. So yeah, spent 2 weeks at Stormy's. Went really well. Old lunchbox I ate on Monday is giving me food poisoning. Oof. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, if you don't trust the food you're eating, don't eat it. If it smells even slightly off, tastes even kind of funny. If the first couple of bites are fine, but it hits your gut and goes... that's when you really need to start thinking twice. What else? So yeah, there's not going to be a lot going on. Yeah, I definitely feel sympathy for Brian as well, Stormy. I've had minor food poisoning a few times. I've had one really bad bout of E. coli. 2 weeks at Stormy's. It's either that, it's either a hurricane or a sequel to Weekend at Bernie's. But I think we've figured out that the sequel to Weekend at Bernie's was 4 years in the White House. I was watching Styx Hexenhammer earlier on the way home. Ah, hi Callum, nice to see you. It is in fact woodshed time because I am sick and tired of get this done and putting things off, and yeah, it just needs to be done. I have the light stomach ache and frequent bathroom stage, so I'm getting better. Oh, that's awesome. Make sure you stay hydrated. Water is really important at this point. Yeah, so like I was saying to Callum, I'm just tired of looking at this building in a complete state of uproar and waiting for one or two tools to finish a single task or two or three before I actually tackle the actual work that I want to do. So I'm going to put everything on hold. I did put everything on hold last week and intended to have it done by last week, but some IRL issues occurred, and I ended up Stormy rocks me like a hurricane. This is true. There's nothing like a good woman. Oh, lemon water. Ugh. Sorry, I have a thing about citrus. I just can't deal with citrus. It's not quite to the level of an allergy, I don't think, but citrus things give me headaches. Callum says, sorry I can't hang out. Need to take a shower, drop off to bed. Have a fun hangout, guys. Drop a like, Ardent. Thank you very much, Callum. If I don't finish this tonight, I'm going to be doing this until it's done. So my content for the next little while will pretty much consist of the camera in the corner watching me work. So, yeah. Nothing terribly exciting, but feel free to drop in for a conversation whenever. Yeah, so this is pretty much the only live stuff I'm doing on YouTube these days where I'm not on someone else's channel. Had a great time with Yiz the Eunuch a couple of nights ago. Really wish I'd been able to be on that political thing she did yesterday. It is in fact a live feed, so Stormy can put the whip to me. No, I think Stormy would agree that I occasionally overwork myself, especially physically. But you don't get to be built like this and take it easy on yourself. You also don't get some of these wonderful scars that I've collected over the years. Let me make sure nobody has said anything I missed. And yes, Stormy does like my shoulders very much. They're significantly beefy for a heavy guy anyway. But yeah, she's very fond of my axe swinging muscles, which is part of the reason I'm doing this, is because I wouldn't mind being able to get a few big pieces of felled wood and turn at least one of them into a splitting stump. Since I have apparently a wood cutting sword coming later this year, which will absolutely be put to use. Speaking of weapons, I am planning to make a few weapons. One of the things I've just discovered in the last little while is an Okinawan Kobudo weapon called an Iku, or Eku, which is basically a polearm practice weapon shaped essentially like a boat oar. And I did buy a Subarito recently as well. I do plan to try and make one of those as well. What I want to do, because now I have the material and the tools to do it, is actually do some laminated woodwork. I'm thinking I will probably use potentially spruce and cedar, because these are both fairly light materials. So they'd be good for practice weapons, but not necessarily for sparring weapons. Once I get a little bit practiced in yeah, once I get a little bit practiced in making those, and yes, Stormy, I do know I have projects that I have promised you. And right here over my shoulder is a project I promised somebody else as well. That needs to get done first, which is the major reason I'm doing this. As the old Chinese proverb goes, it doesn't matter how fast you travel, as long as you start and don't stop. And I think there's a Confucianism that goes something like, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. There's your highbrow quotation moment for the day. So, I'm not done smoking. So I am going to move the camera back into that corner and actually try and get to work. So there may not be a lot of breaks. Well, I'll actually finish my coffee first. But yeah, I see I missed at least one comment. Prime says he's trying to break a habit that's hindering him following the life he wants, phone screen time, I watch even in bed before sleep. That's actually one of the worst things you can do to yourself. Um, and me and Stormy both fall prey to it. We'll put on YouTube shorts on the big TV while we're laying down, and it becomes a constant flick, flick, flick on the remote. And hello, hello, hello. I don't think I've seen hello here before, so hello, hello for the first time. Hello. Are we unhello yet? Sorry. If you don't know what that phrase means, I wouldn't be shocked unless you've seen Sock Baby. If you haven't seen Sock Baby, which the entire series is available on YouTube, you should check that out when you have a chance. Just make a note or even just flick away and come back. Sock Baby is just an absolutely hilarious, very low budget short series that was made by the guy who did Earthworm Jim, Doug Tenapple, or Tenapel. I'm not sure exactly how he says his name. It's one of those Americanized Dutch names. So, what else have we got going on here? Yeah, breaking a habit. The phone screen thing. Try to train yourself that the moment your head hits the pillow, that thing hits your desk, and make sure your ringer is off. I'm Stormy will attest to this. I am absolutely terrible for turning my ringer on. I hardly ever do it. An addle. If I remember right, an addle is a spear range extender. I would consider it, but I'm not really planning to make spears. And Prime says there's quite a difference hitting a wall at 20 and 60. Yes, there is. Let's see. Hello says he's been in my nerd chat before under other names. Matt, Spaz, Person. Oh, okay. I recognize Spaz, so yeah, thanks for coming back. Total Blackout, aloha. He says that he hates it when his phone makes sounds. One of the very first things I do when I get a new phone is completely disable the touch sounds. Oh, it drives me insane. Somebody's sitting next to me in a like on a bus or something, and all I can hear is. I just want to reach over and smack them. I'm sorry. I do. It's in my opinion, it's very ignorant to inflict. Well, this goes all the way back to the 80s with the friggin' Walkmans. It's ignorant to inflict your noises on someone else, especially when it's at a level that's very irritating. Set Blackout off with the touch sounds I see. Speaking of Blackout, I was watching your Hiding from the Eye short, the one with Gollum and the tower. Holy crap, man, you're doing some amazing work. It looks so good. And again, that's one of the shorts that Stormy and I end up watching. But yeah, we've gotten to the point, Stormy and me, we'll pick something for white noise, like a thunderstorm or something like that on YouTube, and just shut off the screen, let the sound play, keep it down a little bit. Or like the old standby for me is Comic Storian, audio stories. And I mean, those things will sleep in no time, so. And no problem, man. You deserve every bit of praise you get. You've got some crazy good talent. Touch vibrations and it gets some water. Let's see. Agreed. Audible notifications are a nuisance and really rare that someone needs that stuff. True. I don't even have vibrate on my phone most of the time. And I actually did have it. Actually, I think it's still left on now because I was expecting a call from Stormy. But I believe my ringer and my vibration is still currently on, even though my phone is sitting in the house charging. Okay, I guess I'm not done smoking yet. But, yeah, I'll have one more before I get to work. Yes, that's what we call procrastinating. Thank you. I can hear that through the friggin' YouTube connection. And I don't blame you guys in the slightest. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can remember when I was a kid, and like 6 or 7 years old when the Walkman came out. And one of the very first things I remember about Walkmans is everyone complaining that people were playing them too loud and just irritating everybody around them. In fact, it got to the point that yeah, okay. Well, since Stormy brought it up, one of the things we were doing some real life work, some odd jobs and stuff for actual money this week. So yeah, I definitely put those shoulders to use this week. And she's telling me to take my time. I am in fact taking my time. Uh, Total Blackout says he got a Walkman for his 9th birthday. I never owned a Walkman. My brother, who's 5 years older than me, he had one of those. I ended up with a Discman and only had that for 2 or 3 months before I got tired of it. If you guys have ever seen me on cam by chance when I'm not actually doing videos of my own, you'll notice that the earphones I wear, the headphones I wear never go in my ear. I've used earbuds and earphones a few times, and I always find I end up getting either some sort of irritation, inflammation, or infection from them. So I generally avoid them. I did see somebody had said something. uh, Primed, who works with metal CNC, if I recall correctly, has 2 machines at work that are so safe in their operation and tolerances, some have slept a whole afternoon shift and nothing happened. We should, of course, not do this. No, that is very... So you guys are pretty much there just to make sure the machines don't go and kill everybody, huh? Good job falling asleep. No, I've worked security jobs. I've worked some amazingly boring jobs. And sometimes it gets to the point where, you'll bring in a rubber ball to bounce off a wall just to keep yourself aware of what's going on around you. Or in my case, you'll get so desperate for something to do to take your mind off the very dull nature of what you're doing that you'll befriend a cat, which is actually what I did when I worked in a landfill at one point. Let's see, 70% is measuring and adjusting, the rest is maintenance and setting up work. Yeah, that's CNC work. I know that a lot of woodwork now is being done with CNC. And I know you can do quality work with CNC, but I think it loses something without an artist's or an artisan's hand on the work. Now, metalwork, obviously, you're talking about, in some cases, extreme precision, very, very tight tolerances. And I think you've mentioned before that sometimes you have something like a millionth of an inch tolerance. And yeah, I understand completely why that would be something you'd need to do on a machine as opposed to by human hands. And also, Hi Kingdom. Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, Prime says they work with 0.005, so that's tenths, hundredths, thousandths tolerances on some projects. They suck in the old machines. The new take them like champs. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Did I see Vingle? Vingle, rather? I see Total Blackout saying hi to Vingle. I didn't see him if he came in. Unless that's supposed to be Vinland. And if it is, aces. Now let me make sure I have live chat on and not top chat. Okay, it is live chat. And... okay. Thanks, Blackout. I kind of figured that might have been what it was a typo. Because Vingle is another guy who travels in the white positivity sphere. It's good that you apologize, even though it's really unnecessary. The New York Safe Act gets repealed, but that's unlikely. Is that the one for what is that? Is that the new gun laws thing? I've been oh wow, I'm really blowing the chrome out every time I turn my head, aren't I? But yeah, the safe law, if I remember right, that is the new gun laws where you're only allowed is it only 5 or maybe 10 rounds in a magazine, which is most things. Blackout kind of holds a lot of the agreement I do. He hopes New York sinks into the ocean. Well, if they keep having earthquakes off the coast, there's always a chance. What's really interesting is Stormy was showing me this picture on Facebook that there was a 3.2 or 3.8 earthquake just off the continental shelf south of Newfoundland, about 250 kilometers south. And about 90 years ago, 94 years ago, there was, in 1929, there was a 7.2 quake that hit in that same general area and caused a tsunami here in this part of Newfoundland, which my grandmothers both remembered living through. And there are still loads of people alive now who lived through it, who were conscious and have memory of it. And they talk about how everything got real quiet, and then there was this really great noise, and yeah. I don't think there's a family on the Burin Peninsula, which is the part of Newfoundland I'm from, that didn't have some sort of effect from it. Let's see. Primed. Either way, my vacation starts Friday, and food poisoning has released its grip of. By that time, I'll go to a medieval market in costume. By all means, do send us pictures. I know the guys on Sultans do love seeing those pictures, and I do myself. If America lost, Prime says, if America lost both coasts, nothing of worth would be lost. I kind of like that statue in New York. But Florida's on the coast. Yeah, let's see. If California and New York sank into the sea, maybe we will see the waters rise. More likely, you would probably see the Atlanteans finally show themselves and go, "We don't want this, take it back," and throw it all back ashore. Let's see. Yeah, fingers crossed, Blackout. Let's see. We'd be better off if we relocated the coast a few hundred miles inland. Well, I don't know about the East Coast, but everybody knows about the San Andreas Fault and how long that thing is, and how much potential that has to take a massive chunk from Canada all the way down to, I think it's Baja, Mexico, into the sea. If that were to happen, if that all went at once, would we lose Portland, Seattle, LA, San Francisco? I'm not seeing a lot of downside. Though, yeah, we'd lose a lot of old growth forests, so that kind of affects me. Let's see. Kingdom says it's one of New York's unconventional gun laws, and as for New York sinking into the ocean, not really the state, just the city. Understandable. Blackout has absolutely bright-sided the shit out of this by pointing out that if that happened, he'd get oceanside property in Idaho. Yes, but then you'd also have to deal with oceanside weather, which can be interesting. For example, Stormy and I just spent 9 straight days and then some in the fog. I know my friend Yiz does like the fog, but after 9 days, you start to get a little bit different in the head. Let me see. Prime says if those... we should gift California to the... We'll just call them lefties, since we're on YouTube. Blackout says Idaho weather is already fucking weird. I'm here for it. Yeah, Idaho gets like tornadoes and crazy shit, don't they? If I remember right, you guys are kind of south of Alberta, BC's border, and you guys must get some amazing thunderstorms down there too, yeah? Let's see. Kingdom says he doesn't want to lose Alaska and Florida, but California particularly. So, yeah, SoCal can go. It can burn, and yeah, already does. Yeah, it's funny how climate change and forest mismanagement come together. Hello says he misses Midwest weather. No tornadoes, but great storms. Yeah, when I lived in Alberta, one of my favorite things about it was the thunderstorms. Anyway, I'm actually going to get up this time. So I will take you guys with me. Where am I here? Okay. Pay no attention whatsoever to the staggeringly handsome fat man who is completely screwing his angles up. Oh, let's not have that fall out of there. Okay. Now, there's no plug-in reasonably close, so let me uncoil my cord a little bit and get this thing plugged in over there. Over there is over there, by the way. Yeah, I'm getting some J.J. Abrams. There's some lens flare. Cool. I'm in a Star Trek movie now. First time for everything, I guess. Okay, this is being irritating, so I'm just going to unplug it completely and work this around. So yeah, I mentioned earlier I was watching Sticks Hexenhammer this morning, or rather on my trip home, and it's nice to see that he's kind of laid off the complaining about being tired all the time. Sticks, welcome to the real world. Everybody's tired all the time. But I think the thing I'm appreciating most about Sticks' content is how very different his presentation is from mine. I kind of take it as a point of pride that I'm accused of being the absolute inverse Sticks, whereas he is hairy and somewhat monotone. I tend to be extremely animated, and once in a while at least. Oh, that's bad. Let's put you back that way. I tend to be extremely animated and once in a while bald, or at least balding. Okay, let's see here. Blackout says not enough flat areas to ramp up to a tornado. That's good. The reason California keeps burning is because they aren't doing controlled burns. Exactly. Hello says storms are great, exciting. Let you know a roof is over your head as long as nobody gets hurt. Not too much damage. It's a fun time, indeed. Blackout says he works with a dude from Indiana. He says he misses that weather too. So does Idaho count as west, Midwest? I'm not sure. And I'll keep an eye out for the answer. In the meantime, I have to move a few things around so I can move a few things around. And do let me know if I get too far away from the mic and you guys can't hear me. I'll start shouting. No, where's the bag for that? Okay. Oh, I definitely should have put my glasses on for this. 1 second, I'll try my safety glasses and see if they work better for seeing chat. They don't. I did recently get a new prescription pair of glasses. But, yeah. Excuse me. Kingdom says he doesn't find storms fun. Depends on the storm. Pacific Northwest officially. Okay. So you're Bigfoot country. Sargon wants to go out there. I don't understand Sargon's fascination with that particular cryptid, but I do understand the fascination with cryptids. Here in Fortune Bay, the part of Newfoundland that I grew up in, we've got one called El Fortuna, or just Fortuna, which, if I recall correctly, is Portuguese. And it's basically a sea serpent, kind of akin to the Loch Ness Monster, though there's any number of possibilities as to whether it was an actual real thing or just some guy who was a little bit, yeah. Okay, now, let me see here. I'm going to try to keep the camera angle in mind now when I bend over so that you guys don't get a wonderfully broad view of my arms. Sorry, Stormy. Now, I need to add things to my tool wall as well, which means I really want to get that out the door. Okay, let's see here. We'll put El Comfy chair over to one side. And of course the cord's in the way. So that will stay there for the moment. And I'll just focus on getting things put away and put out of reach. I suppose I could let you guys see what I'm actually doing. I'm really just clearing off this table at this point. And there's my lovely boonie hat. Okay, I need to do some rearranging on my storage here. So this can come out here. So I can move some stuff over there. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know I still had those. Okay, that's interesting. There's a pile of small screws here I've collected from something. And only some of them are actually magnetic. And yeah, like pretty much anybody, I'm loath to throw away a screw that I might need later. Especially the small ones, because they act as really good thumbtacks. Okay, I'm not even sure what you are, so you're going to go up there. Now, if you'll stay there, you won't. Let's see if you'll stay up there. You won't. No, okay. Okay, out of sight, out of mind. There we go. The already overstuffed garbage bag. Now, I think I might have another bag to go in there, actually. Yes, I do. Oh, I see my name has been mentioned. Let's see what we got here. Oops, sorry. Let's see. Pacific Northwest, Vinland, Yemen, 99% of the most recent and worst wildfires are 100% caused by mismanagement. Yeah. Either whoa, sorry guys. Either mismanagement or just flat out arson, a lot of cases. Let's see. Hello says I do. Yeah, people are dumb about growing tinder boxes and then being surprised about the resultant inevitable uncontrolled fires. Forests naturally burn and rejuvenate in a cycle. Also true. It's hubris to think that you can stop that. Yeah. Let's see. Men should be able to at least gauge somewhere in the middle what extent their abilities in their place is. To say it should never burn is just 4-year-old logic, indeed. Let's see. Kingdom asks, do I agree the states that would be the most like Newfoundland would be Alaska? No, actually, it's probably Maine, because they're very much a fishing-driven economy, as I understand it. Yeah, it's definitely toddler logic. Blackout is in Idaho. At hello, bingo. Oh, sorry, Blackout talking to hello, says bingo. Stormy agrees. And Henrik and Lana of Red Ice are up there too. I'm not sure what any of those words mean. Anyway, I will tip this back down, hopefully not blow out the chroma as I move away from the camera again. That should do. Right. Let me make myself some room to work here. Come on. There we are. Oh, I must have been using something wet at some point. Or maybe it's just all the humidity lately. It's gotten... Oh, no, okay, I know what that is. Those are playing cards I used for spraying some rims. Which is actually me LARPing as Blackout for a little bit, since I was using cans of spray paint for it. Which is ironically a pretty soothing thing to do. Just working a spray can back and forth and getting good coverage on a color. It's relatively, I won't say it's mindless, because that sounds insulting. I would say it's kind of soothing, in that you can kind of disengage a lot of your brain. What's blowing the chroma? Like, oh, yeah, I do apologize if you guys end up blind. Yeah, that's a doodle block. Combination ashtray and boredom machine. Okay, that should be clean. Do I have anything wet in here to clean that with? I don't. It's a good thing to put a note up for myself about. Some wet wipes out here. Let's see, I have a pen here somewhere. Oh, I have a pencil. That will do. Actually, this will do better. Oh, no, it won't. Okay, we'll go with this thing. I thought I had a Sharpie or two out here, but I guess I don't. Paper? Blank paper? Ironically, I have no blank paper out here. I usually do my planning indoors. So, we are going to be forced to improvise. Okay, I can't see that either. Well, we'll just try and remember wet wipes. Always a chance it'll work. I see my name again. Give me just a moment. Really? There we go. Never let it be said that violence doesn't solve problems. Oh my god, I'm really sorry guys. I don't know why the chrome is getting blown out so bad. It's probably the gleam off my head. I'll put on a bandana in a second. Hopefully I'll take care of it. Let me see. There's a game being made called The Last Train, which is based on the Czechoslovak Legion's long train journey across Russia during the Russian Civil War. Interesting. It does sound interesting. At hello, if you're on Discord, maybe I can send you a video. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Bandana. I should have one in here. I got a good dark one. Hopefully that'll take care of it. Oh, it's the light colors on the door. No, it's not. Oh my. Get a dark one. Wow. Oh man. I'm starting to think I should wear a fucking face mask for this. it's my arms. Nope, no, it's definitely not my arms. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need a better camera for out here. Let me see if I can't make some difference by changing the angle this thing is sitting at. Oh, of course, now we've kind of blocked it in. There we are. Let's see if that'll work better. Put my arm in there. Okay, not blowing chroma now. I think possibly it was a combination of the lights. Let's see. I'll wait for someone to say something. Maybe I'll be able to see the chat from here. Okay. I'll come back when I get a chance. And this is just a bunch of stuff I took with me to Stormy's for those 2 weeks because she had a few things over there that I wanted to get into as well, besides her pants. I need a knife now. Don't have a knife, but I do have a hatchet. I don't know if you guys could see that very well or not, but I'm just putting a point on this pencil. And I definitely need to sharpen my hatchet. Okay. That's good enough. I'm just going to find a knife to do that with now. Oh yeah, I put all my knives over here. Okay, now I have a list started. So when I need to remember something, I can just write it on the wall. And for now, these guys are going to go up here. You are a difficult piece of juniper. There we are. There we are. That's just up out of the way. This is my folding saw. And one of my few actual fixed blade knives. It's very cheap, but does the job. That is going to have to hang somewhere else. for the moment. I think I have space back there. Yes, I do now. Since I've taken that one off. That one will sit. Okay, I need a little loop of rope for this. I'll use this stuff. There, out of the way. I knew there was a hole in that thing somewhere. What else have I got to hang up? This thing. And I no longer need this box, so that can go into the pile of stuff to be dealt with later. And that should be on the wall. So I'm going to mark a spot to put it. I have a tool wall started over here. I think you guys can see part of it, but this is going to get much more filled out soon. One lift those up. Not really. Fill it up here. That will do neatly. Okay. And these are just cheap dollar store screw-in hooks. Handy as hell. I'll tell you one thing, ambidexterity comes in handy a lot. Oh, screw you, pal. Okay. 2-plier job it is. Just opening up these hooks so I can get the holes of the level in there. There we are. And there. I need a little more. Okay, so it actually went up. Well, the bubbles between the bars. That's what matters. It's not 100% level, but it'll do. Now I need to find some way to put these things up. If you're wondering what some of these tools are, I'll actually point this at the table and explain what they are, because I find some of this stuff fascinating myself. Okay, so We'll remove Mr. Torch. On the screen, it's left to right, at least as I'm looking at it. These are barbed wire pliers, which come in handy in woodworking way more than you'd expect. This is just a pair of side cutters that I had to put new handles on. A pair of needle nose, another pair of side cutters, and linesman pliers, which is a combination of regular pliers, just grabbing pliers, square jaws, and of course wire cutters. And of course a soft maul, because nobody wants to be hitting the head with a hard one. And I also have a pair of utility shears that I picked up recently. And yes, this is a machete, which one of my neighbors kindly gifted to me not too long ago. And I had opportunity to use over at Stormy's recently, pruning a tree. For now, that too will hang here, just to have it out of the way. Let's see here. I'm going to need screws for that. These guys will do. Two, 4. Nope, too short. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh, okay. I'm just trying to work out in my head the best way to hang those up. And while I'm at it, I might as well collect all the screws that are the same so I know how many I have of that one type. I believe these ones in particular came out of a piece of furniture I tore apart last year. In fact, it might be this table right here that they came out of. Okay, that's all of those. Paper towel. Because these are actually very, very full of WD-40 still. Should probably take my jewelry off before I do that. And of course, Stormy's going to lose her mind because this is a brand new t-shirt she just bought me. What's in there? Garbage. Oh. This thing, which I could not figure out what I was going to do with, so I just threw it up on the shelf, actually fell at me earlier, and ended up independently in the garbage. So it can go right back there. I'm going to have to get at that wall again later. For now, the axes, I don't like the axes being there either. That actually looks like it was drilled. Now that I'm looking at it. No, it looks like it was stamped. Okay. But is there a point on that pencil? That's an H pencil. I'm not sure where I came across that. One of you artist types might know if it's different. Before I put these up, I want to make sure they're not going to be flammable. So I'm going to do a little test with my torch on this one. Looking at what's behind the torch. Really? There we go. Okay, whatever fluid is left on there is not flammable, so I don't need to worry about anything there. These guys smash in there for now. Get a paracord because you gotta have fucking rope. You haven't seen Boondock Saints? It's another movie you should see. It's very much a guy's flick. Though I believe Stormy has mentioned before that she liked that. Let me see, where am I starting? Start with this guy. Oh, actually, I need to start in that toolbox. There's a bunch of the things that are on this table actually belong in this box. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Actually, I think all that's going to go in this box. Including the shears. And I found a hammer I didn't know I had. I think this is going to be the challenge, is getting that mallet to stay in there. That's not going to happen. Okay. Hello, what are you sitting on? There we go. Alright then. That's one more step done. Okay. My breaker bar is supposed to go in the house. Been out here since God knows when. So that'll go next to the door. An extra chair because occasionally I have company. Okay, I'm going to get this patch of floor cleaned up, and then I'm going to sit down again for a few minutes, because, well, it's not just Stormy that wants me to take my time with this, it's also my friggin' back and my knees. And I should clarify, I'm moving the pile of dirt somewhere else to deal with it later. Okay, I wonder if I could turn that table now. It's still a little heavy. Let's get a few things off and see what happens. Toolbox. Come over here. What is that connected to? Oh, sander. Is there a shelf for that still? No. So let's see if this will go up here. Excellent. That's a good start. I'm just going to poke up there out of the way so I can deal with it later. Copper wire. I'm sure some of you guys remember this little bugger. This piece of entertaining gadgetry. And I do realize you guys can't see what I'm doing on that side of the room, so I'm coming back over to adjust the angle. There we go. I'm just packing things into, let's see, that shelf. And no, even though I do own a lot of Radley tools, which is what that pale green is you see in a lot of places, they're not a sponsor. I'd happily accept a sponsorship from them, but they're not currently a sponsor. But they are good, call them entry level. They're not super, super durable tools, but they are very much suited to purpose. Considering that because I do so much work with hand tools, I generally don't need heavy power tools. That will change in the next little while, so some of my Radley tools are going to be getting stress tested pretty hard. Okay, I'm not comfortable with having a machete just hanging in the middle of the shop, so we're going to put you up here with the axes for now. My axes live in saxes. I'm sorry, but not that sorry. Okay, you get to go up that way. And yes, I do agree that for a craftsman who values actual wood as much as I do, it's somewhat disturbing that I have so many tools that have polymer handles. Ow. And there's that trick knee. Okay. That's still quite heavy. What? Oh, well, it helps if I'm not dragging a drill press with it. Okay. Really? I need an inch. Come on. And I have to steal that inch from this direction, so I can take it from that direction. At least I hope I can. I can't. Downside of bare plank floors. Let's see. Okay, creative problem solving time. That doesn't feel good on the bad knee either. Really? Okay. You can squeeze out around that. And just broke my promise about showing off my ass. Sorry. And of course, at this point, Stormy realizes, oh crap, I haven't been watching close enough and she missed it. Okay, I'm gonna need that hand. There we go. Okay, so now I have a much more open area to deal with. Okay, much better. Now I have some space. And now I can take the time to sit down for a minute. Once I get these two boxes out of the way. There we go. Mostly I had to move the boxes because they're in the way of the power cable. Come on, little doggy. There we go. And okay, actually, while we're at this, I'll show you guys the tool wall. So this is, down here is a bit of scrap board that I'm going to be moving. You can see I've put, well, hang on, let me just disentangle the power cord and set up the cap. Oh, hello. That was not supposed to happen. What just happened? I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, as you can see, well, not terribly clearly, but my saws, all my saws, and planes. Yes, I do actually now own a Japanese push cut saw. Haven't had a chance to use it much, but the one test cut I did with it, it cuts really, really nicely, and it's really cheap. So I can only imagine what those are going to be. Hello gets the reference. Fine, bring your stupid rope. But yeah, there's buck saws. That one in the lower end actually is actually a combination buck and hacksaw, which I also own a diamond blade for. Not that I ever expect to need a diamond blade when I'm cutting wood. Though it could happen depending on how dense some of the woods I get are. In the future. Hit up my subscribe star. But yeah, I've got some old planes. One very tiny little plane that needs some surfacing. That is, if I recall correctly, it was called a finish plane. I don't know, it's just small. But yeah, so that's going to be the tool wall from about, oh, you guys can't see that angle, just a moment. From about here up, that's all going to be tools. And then below that will probably be some form of narrow storage for probably manufactured material, or engineered material. It's fucking plywood. Anyway, I'm setting up my chair and having a cigarette now. Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. Oh wait, I'm not actually doing anything wrong. It's my stand was not properly set up. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to have to drop this camera angle pretty deep, I think. Potentially precipitously. That's getting rather close to my shoulder. There we are. Okay. So that was my mistake. I hadn't... Actually, let's bring you guys over here. I'm just going to lean. Come on. Stop being difficult. Cursed electronic technology. It's the bane of my existence. Okay. Let's get you twisted in real good. And see how that looks. Okay. Whew, that was actually kind of warmish. Yeah. Just sorting my bandana out a little bit. It's a good thing I put one on because I'm quite sweaty now. Cigarette. So, what have I missed in chat? I will say nothing, nothing. Game being made. There we go. Okay, back to Kingdom of Vinland, talking about a game being made based on the Czech Legion's train journey. I'm going to guess that's a military train. Sorry, military game. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, primed. It may very well have been the light coming through the windows. I was thinking about it. And Bleach has popped in. Hi, Bleach. Now twerk to adjust the lighting. No. I summon the old god Maureen to do that. Yes, definitely wrong stream, my friend. Stormy says, really, baby? I'm going to guess that's probably about my ass comment. Blackout says he's heading into the backcracker. Catch you all later. Going to guess that's some sort of weird device, possibly a suspension table. Guessing he will pay in not very subtle ways later. Hello says he has a 40 horsepower tractor he can either crack in half and remove the crank and have it ground. I can sell it for like $1,000. How old is it? My question, if how old it is, how much you would be likely to spend on maintenance versus getting a new one, assuming you can get a new one for a decent price. Yeah, I don't know farm stuff. I'm a fisherman's kid, and I work with wood. Prime Knight says, machete, you mean falchion, according to Shad. Yeah, wow. I love Shad, don't get me wrong. But there's some geometric differences there. Let's see. Hello says he thinks he has that same woodworking table version 1 where the vise is on the front rather than the side. Company update to the version 2 you have there. This was a very extremely, and it is garbage cheap. It looks like a butcher block style. It's in fact not. It's some sort of veneer over some thin plank. It's not a proper woodworker's table. It's a hobbyist level woodworker's table. One of the things I intend to do when I have some money is to rebuild the tables. Either rebuild the tables that I was using when I was working in the cabinet making course, or build one myself, possibly based on Stumpy Nub's design. Falchion brings Hello back to Diablo 2 and 3. Wow. I haven't played Diablo since, I think it was the first one, to be honest. Excuse me. Prime says he has a falchion, but it's for Boohurt, so it's not historically accurate for safety reasons. Makes sense. You're a man, it's normal. LOL. Fine. Oh, you're a man, it's normal. Okay. Fine, bring your stupid rope. Yeah. If you haven't seen Boondock Saints, it's a great movie. It is very, very good. Stormy says she's too rough on me. Okay. Hello says the compression is so severe that most detail is lost. No idea what that was. A dart. Oh, no. That was actually the tip of a scratch-all. And it's just something I flick at the wall once in a while to, well, showing off more than anything. But just to get it out of the way, I'll give it a flick. I'm getting disturbingly good with it from within like 5 feet. But I did throw knives for a while for fun in Alberta. All the other nerds left, it seems. It seems that way. Billy Boggs has popped in. What are you up to? Stormy is nice enough to explain that I'm shed cleaning and says hello. Is this my man cave? It has always been my man cave. Well, it's my shed. We don't do man caves. My generation, we do sheds. Smoking blunts and rapping. There was a time. Billy says he can't see the other chatters. Can hear they see me. You can see me at Stormy. It's only us, Billy, right now. Is there a time warp like a hurricane, Billy, baby? I rock you like a hurricane, yeah. Or you rock me like a hurricane, sure. Billy wants to know if he's in the future. No, now you're in the past. And now you're even further in the past. Soon you will be even further in the Yeah, the flow of time is one of those funny things that you can't really get around. Hello has been binge watching Cheers. I loved Cheers when I was a kid. I'd say my favorite two characters are probably Coach and, well, the play between Norm and Cliff was probably my favorite relationship in the show. But my favorite two characters by themselves were probably Coach and, well, the burgeoning pubescent boy definitely liked Kirstie Alley. But I would say Woody had a certain thing to him too, and this was Woody Harrelson, like way before he was Woody Harrelson present day or current year, as that is. Stormy says she's watching MASH. That's another great show. I would love. I actually postulated the possibility of rebuilding or rebooting MASH with a modern cast, and who we would suggest to play who. If we were planning to go the serious route, then I wouldn't have anything to do with it, because MASH to me was always a comedy. Bleach says he had a thing for the chicken wings. Is that Time Daily? Or am I thinking about Tim, her brother? Chicken wings, who was that? I'm sure Bleach is feverishly looking it up so he can tell me. I'm sure it's got something to do with her nose. Also the fact that she never twerked, that we know of. And I would be willing to bet she in fact never did. So I'm probably going to have a second cigarette now that I'm sitting down. And you guys can come down and hang out with me. The short blonde in wings. The meme that men go to the shed as a man cave, it's a bit of a joke that they would hide jazz mags in there. I've never heard that particular meme, but let me just bring this down. What I would say now is that the shed now is probably akin to what the gentlemen's clubs were 3, 4, 5 generations ago, where it was just I hate to use the term, but essentially a safe space for men to be men, and just be amongst their own sort of thing. Crystal Bernard. Wow. Bleach, I think you found one of the few deep cut references that I don't get from that era. Crystal Bernard. I can't remember her. And I have a damn near photographic memory. I don't remember her at all. I remember the two characters. I think they were the brothers. But yeah, I don't remember her at all. And Billy wants to know if this is the same Bleach demon from the Lotus Eaters chat. Yes, it is. That's where actually a lot of the Sultans kind of coalesced, I think. I know that's how I became aware of the guys. I believe it was Trim had actually made a video comment. And I'd seen Sultans of Shadilay a few times, and I finally went, okay, I've got to see what these guys are about, because if they're interested in the same things I'm interested in, then I'm probably going to like their content. And of course, at that point, I was already doing my own stream on Saturdays. Thanks. Yeah, that went tits up. I ended up shanghaied into Sultans, so now I spend my Saturdays listening to a yelling Australian and far better off than I am American. And the occasional Norwegian boat chef screaming in the background. So it is a shit ton of fun, and I'm very, very glad you guys invited me to join. Rob the Nut. Oh God, is Rob still there? Rob was half the reason I quit. Rob was just a weirdo. Yeah. Yep, Rob the Nuts Defender. Yeah, I remember Rob. Oh, but what if it's this age instead of this age? And what if they're willing, but there's no consent law? No, okay? Leave the kiddies alone. As one of our good friends says, get in the chipper, bitch. And yes, I don't care that I'm on YouTube for that one. Rob is the turd that won't flush. That's very true, Billy. Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think Rob may have ended up on one of the Discords that I was frequenting for a while, and then invited me to join his Discord. Now, I'm not going to say any names. Bleach may be able to put this together, and I hope you don't put any names out either, because I'm not 100% convinced they were the same person, but I've got a feeling. And yeah, when that person's past came out, all of a sudden anyone who might be, I wouldn't even say rabidly anti-Knots, sensibly anti-Knots, suddenly found themselves bounced from the server, though apparently the Discord does still exist. I was under the impression he had simply shut down the Discord and faded into the ether. But as I say, I'm not 100% convinced it's the same Knots defending weirdo. So, but yeah, there is absolutely no defense for anyone who would physically or sexually attack a child at all. Let's see. Bleach was put on Rock Watch a few times. I'm going to guess that was disco. That had something to do with that. So yeah, that's at least a little bit of progress. The 4 pieces of pallet stringer behind me that you can see the nails sticking out of, I've been trying to get those nails out. I purchased a set of, and this is definitely a tool review moment. I purchased a set of channel lock end nippers because end nippers are meant for cutting nails. So the teeth, sorry, the planes where they meet. I don't have my other set of end nippers up here, but what I had done, I had bought a longer set of end nippers from Channel Lock, the company, for a couple of reasons. They were slightly above the baseline cost. Also, they were made in the U.S. and forged in the U.S. Forged in this case being fraudulent. The I assume German-made pallets behind me have spiral nails in them, so trying to get them out with pliers and a hammer is, well, it's a little beyond my ability, and I have really strong grip. It's demonstrated just by the musculature in my arms. But these things completely defeated me, so Billy wants to know where you can find Rob on Discord. I don't, and if I did, I would not direct you towards him because he's if he's that far into the left camp, they would have people who would happily ruin your life just for giving him a hard time. So it's really not worth it. Uh, but as I was saying about the channel lock end nippers, I had purchased a set that were, I believe, about 12 to 15 inches long for the extra leverage. They worked fine on the first nail I put them on, clamped them down, kind of just bit into the nail nice and neatly, and then cranked them down, pulled the nail out beautifully. So I threw that nail down, went to the next one. It felt like a little slip, so I shifted my grip, and they pulled them out beautifully. Threw that nail down, went to the next one, slip. And I'm looking down, and I can see the surface rust of the nail has been stripped off. I'm like, oh, okay, I just didn't have a quite tight enough grip. So I modulated my grip, and of course, did it again. What I didn't realize was that, okay, when end nippers come together, if you're looking at a top-down view, they come together on a perfect plane so that they bite nice and neatly. What happened with these particular channel lock end nippers, and I've emailed channel lock, I'm waiting to hear back to see what they say. I do believe they actually ruled my complaint closed because I told them I wasn't buying from them anymore. And they didn't seem to really care that one of their customers, who was almost professional level woodworker, pointed out to them that their product was garbage. Lifetime limited warranty notwithstanding. But what had been happening was this plane that was supposed to meet the other plane made up so that they would grip the nail and give you, normally you would just clamp them closed and cut the nail. But if you apply just enough pressure and get leverage right, you can actually pull them. What was happening was the surface of the biting plane was being chewed up. So within 6 nails, I had actually damaged these channel lock end nippers to the point that they were useless. Joy. So of course they ended up going right back to the store, and I'm waiting now to get a replacement set from a different company. If the replacement set has the same problem, which it shouldn't, these are supposed to be soft iron nails. If that happens, then the next step is going to be to simply take a hacksaw, come down in the plane of the piece. You can see right about here, there's a scoop, and if you've ever seen a pallet, you know these scoops are there. And what I will do is go along that scoop with my hacksaw and slice the wood away until I've got more of the nail exposed, so I can get a hold of it with something else or bash them through and pull them out that way. But I really want to save those pieces because they're very strong pine, and they will do fine for building a stand for one of my tools, for instance. Or potentially even, if things had worked out, they could potentially have been any number of other project parts. Let's see. Bleach says, don't seek the evil. I agree. As I believe it was Nietzsche said, be careful that when you stare into the abyss, you should know that the abyss also stares into you. And he who fights monsters should also be careful not to become one himself. Uh, yes, Billy, as strange as it sounds, there are people who are so mentally twisted that they will ruin your life. They will attack you simply because you gave one of theirs a hard time. It's very hard to understand that tribal attitude if you've never engaged in it, but they are very tribal people, and it's an our side versus everybody else sort of mentality that they have. Take Antifa, for example. I'm sure within Antifa there are minor disagreements about how to somehow uh, initiate the communist utopia or whatever the fuck bullshit they have in their heads. But at the end of the day, no matter what, they will back each other up. And that tends to be one of the issues I have with people on the right. Uh, a very high profile example of that is Ron DeSantis right now. He showed Trump a disturbing amount of disloyalty, and he's paying for it. He has, even Styx agrees with me, he has what amounts to negative chances as the nominee, especially with Trump running. Let's see. Bleach says they are legion and vicious enough to attack anyone not in their circle. Absolutely. There are more than a fucking legion of Robs. Yeah, it's a disturbing thought, but it's true. Uh, not all the conspiracy theories are theories. I mean, look at what we're learning about certain YouTube inappropriate medical procedures. Yeah. And I shouldn't say learning. Look at what's being confirmed more than learned. The Santis fans, yes, they are a bit rabid. Um, you know, I wouldn't even say those guys are bad because they're still on the right and they're still a little, how to put it, a little short of zealotry, unlike, say, people who are fans of AOC, which, I'm sorry, nobody is predicting that AOC may be suggested as one of the candidates in the next election, but she is just going to be old enough, and she's a manufactured politician to no end. She's an absolute corporate agent. Or, well, no, that it might not be corporate, but she's definitely ideologically possessed, and I would be very, very unsurprised if, honestly, I'd be surprised if she didn't try or make a run. Now, she's had a few slips and falls, uh, or I guess faux pas, or whatever term you want to use recently, where she's had some hilariously idiotic takes. But uh, I don't know that she's not potentially going to be in the running. Now, I'm sure Bleach is probably laughing his testicles off at the moment. Uh, and I have to say that I titter at the thought of AOC attempting to debate anyone above the level of intelligence of, say, Ponscom. But if, for example, the blue sky version of my 2024 debate would have been uh, Biden would have been out, and he really should be. It's very clear that he's an abuse senior at this point. And abusive too, apparently. But it's very clear that he is not fit for the office. And that's my opinion, YouTube. I'm not making a blanket statement of fact. I'm sharing my opinion. But in my opinion, Biden is not suited for the office, and I would have creamed my figurative political brain if they had actually pushed forward the pairing that I was thinking against At the time, Trump with Ron DeSantis as his VP running mate, Kamala Harris and AOC as her VP, because that's two women of color. And I could easily see that appealing very much to the demographics that vote for the Democrats right now. God. But it would have been absolutely hilarious to watch those debates. Oh, Tristan is in. Hello, Tristan. How you doing? Let me see. DeSantis fans, yes. Tristan says, if AOC runs for the junior Senate seat in New York and takes it, after one term, she will have exactly the same record and credentials as Barack Obama, plus a decent pair of tits. Yes. She literally was a cocktail waitress who answered a casting call for the Justice Democrats. You should look into who funds and supports them. Is it a palindromic name from Europe? AOC may be set up to be House leadership over presidential candidate. Ooh, yeah, I could see that. Billy Blogs. Oh, no, Tristan responding to Billy Blogs, rather. And BHO was a community organizer. Credentials don't matter. True. Billy says he has no sympathy for Biden. Biden's a bastard. Let's be honest. He's damn near in the camp of Rob at this point. But, yeah, I mean, this is one of the differences between the right and the left, or conservatives and progressives. Conservatives can still see the human being behind the ideology. All the progressives see is the ideology. And if it's an ideology that disagrees with theirs, they don't see the people involved. All they see is the ideological flag, and they want to burn it down. Let me see. And Bleach says it's about pushing the party line. Yes, agreed. Kamala Harris. Oh, this is Tristan. Kamala Harris was out in the first round of voting. She doesn't even appeal to Democrats. Fair point. At the time, I think I can't see them pushing Ilhan Omar or Gretchen Whitmer, possibly. There's gonna be some interesting memes to come out of that one too. Tristan says they're right to only see the ideology. The people aren't people anymore. They are the ideology. That's what it means to be ideologically possessed. Yes. I don't think it's necessarily right to only see the ideology. It kind of makes it very difficult to actually engage in a constructive discussion with someone if they're completely ideologically possessed. The problem is when your opponent, for lack of a better word, is completely ideologically possessed, you're left with a situation where the conscience gets disengaged, where people don't see other people, they just see enemies, or they just see a hostile force. Mob mentality is a good way to put it. And once things happen to that level, you cannot bargain with a mob. All you can do is threaten and attack it, or attempt to placate it. And we've seen very clearly that the progressive mob is completely unplacatable. Or they refuse to be placated. AOC answered to cast call to act as a crypto commie, fresh-faced Latina female. Right? I'd agree with that. Let's see. Tristan, I'll lock that back one step. AOC isn't just the ideology. She's the ideology plus a vaguely Hispanic palette swap. She's Hillary Clinton with the actual color. Because she is definitely acting as much as any of those people. She grew up in privilege. Right? She grew up in privilege that most of us probably can't imagine. And it's really unfortunate that one of the big missteps she had was to leave her poor abuela suffering in Puerto Rico after, I think it was either a hurricane or an earthquake, or possibly both, or possibly two hurricanes. I can't remember the exact meteorological events. But, okay, you're living in at least $100,000 apartment a year with whatever your salary is. You could move your abuela in with you. It was a hurricane. Thank you, Bleach. Yeah, why on earth would you not show... Well, actually, it's very obvious why she wouldn't show loyalty to her family, because family is one of the things the progressives absolutely want to destroy. She's acting as a neo-Marxist disruptor, at least, says Billy. I don't think she's even how to put it? I don't think she's the motive force behind her actions. That would be the best way to put it. I think she's as scripted as it gets. And Billy says progressive equals neo-Marxist. Close enough. You know, the terms we use, cultural Marxist, progressive, leftoid, they all mean basically the same sort of stuff. BLM, Antifa, all these groups, they're all dedicated to destroying Western culture one way or another. And in one facet or another. Antifa is clearly determined to just disrupt things. I understand enjoying a bit of gratuitous violence, boys. Talking to Antifa. But you can't do it as well as the right. That's why the Proud Boys kick your ass every single time. And also, I get a real kick out of the Proud Boys being labeled a white supremacist organization when they're run by a Latino. Yes, cultural Marxism and neo-Marxism are basically the same thing. The cultural aspect of it is where their focus is. If you're a neo-Marxist, you're just someone who's Marxist and new at it. I'm putting that to a very simplified, or in a very simplified set of terms. This chair is actually betraying me at this point. Just a second. Get in there, you miserable bastard. Here we go. But yeah, the neo-Marxist thing is, or sorry, I've got that backwards. The cultural Marxist is a subset of the neo-Marxist. The neo-Marxist is kind of the global scale of it, whereas the cultural Marxists are the guys who do things like feminize the Force in Star Wars, or push for racial and gender representation, and they'll claim they want diversity in equal proportion to society. But then you look at a country like Canada, which is, 4% native, or probably less than 15, 16, maybe 20% non-white, and yet 95 to 98% of the commercials in Canada feature someone of color. And that's because that's in the law, which was funny because they flouted that law so they could, promote MAID, medical assistance in dying, to white people. Yeah, it's kind of like pushing Planned Parenthood on black people. But we won't talk about that, will we? Fucking Margaret Sanger. Bleach says, AOC, while not as dumb as we would like to think, fair, is a very scripted politician. True. Which is something that has been revived in recent decades. Nothing new, but it's more theatrical. That would be the best descriptor for her. Theatrical. The way she acts on the floor of the Senate, I believe she's a senator. But the way that she acts is obviously acting. And I would dearly love to watch her rehearse once in a while. Congressman, sorry. So she's in Congress. Okay. I don't understand the separation in your guys' system. Let's see. Tristan says he wants to make a prediction. By the time the first GOP primary debate happens, will BLM be stood back up as agitators? Can they overcome the fraud and misappropriation? Probably not. Public opinion has totally turned against them. What it will probably be, ironically, reverse cultural infiltration, where it'll be the trans lobby that'll probably be pushing for the same sort of stuff that BLM was pushing for before, just to disrupt. Bleach says the House, which I assume is Congress. Okay. And rights, says Billy. Okay. Let me see, what time is it? I do apologize for putting my hand over your guys' face. It's 10 to 9. So I've been at this about an hour and a half. Yeah, okay. Okay, a few more tasks and then I'm going to call it a night, I think. This time I'm going to put you guys in that corner. So I have to get over there. Yeah, you can hear me kicking the nails around on the floor. We will bring the angle back up here. And get this cord unplugged. and move you guys over here. Really? You can tell how cluttered the floor is in here by how many things I bang into moving this thing. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Precipitous angle changes. Now, I have to reach past this thing to plug it in back here. There we are. And, oh, it says that my tablet is at 100%. Awesome. Let's see, what have I got left to do here? I'll give you guys an even longer view if I can. The longest view I can manage. Anyway, it's actually pretty good, but let's get this out of the shot. Okay, that won't hurt. And we will sweep, because that's one of the things we should do. Now, just to explain a bit more about what I'm doing, these two tables over here are going to move. This one here is just a basic work table. That's going to go under that cabinet in that corner. This one is actually the woodworking table that I want to be able to move in and out, so it's probably going to go over here. Sorry, over here. Essentially adjacent to the tool wall. This door is for sale if anybody wants one. I've still got a significant amount of dirt under there, so when I move those tables, there's going to be a lot of sweeping to be done. Actually, I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm going to make some noise with the vacuum, the shop vac. So just be aware there's going to be a little bit of racket in a moment. Ah, okay. I was almost prepared to be all slick and spiffy with that, but oh well. It didn't happen. There we are. I wonder what that weird hissing sound behind me was. Making sure there's nothing blocking this hose. Okay. Nothing important. And that's going to make my hands very dirty. Good to know. Okay, so the noise starts now. create a jam in there because, well, curls of wood deep in the bottom of it. This will do. No, it won't. Okay. How much damage did I do to that? That's a little bit marred. That's actually a piece of juniper. I think you guys might be able to see the striping on it. That spiral striping is from taping it and letting it get exposed to the sun. It was an aging test. And very, very nice color. There we are. I need this thing. Okay, let's try. Okay. Oh, that works better. Something in there stuck real good. Place your bets. Is it a Kit Kat wrapper or a cigarette pack? And the answer is a Kit Kat wrapper balled up in a pile of shit. Okay. So if you chose Kit Kat wrapper, we will allow you guys to have a win on that one. And also there's some nails and screws in there. much mess left under there. Next to nothing. Okay. So that's the vacuuming done. And yeah, you may have noticed I do in fact like an occasional chocolate bar. And I do have a bad habit for throwing things on the floor that I should break. Okay, so that sounds like pieces of broken screws. Yeah, very much is. There we go. Yeah, needless to say, the shop vac has been beaten on pretty hard. But takes a lick and keeps on ticking. I'm sure what brand it is. Oh, it's rigid. Well, there you go. That could be a review for rigid too. Anyway, I am going to sit down and go through chat one last time before I give this up for the night, as I have realized moments ago that I badly need to pee. And as Jeremy Clarkson once so rightly pointed out, nothing is worse than being under the influence of eating a piss. Really? Okay, so it's the hammer method then. Where is my soft maul? I must have put that somewhere else. Okay. Don't forget, kids, just because the only tool you have is a hammer doesn't mean every problem can't be solved by bashing the shit out of it. As I did miss a few nails, and I do want the floor clean in case someone else who is not as comfortable with the thought of, why are you not closing? Okay, you're refusing to close now. That's fine. Anyway, as I was saying, because there are a few nails left on the floor, and not everyone is as comfortable with the possibility of injury to their feet as I am, I will clean up. That's all the ones I can see. Ouch. Apparently there was a piece of a staple on the floor too. Joy. Oh, what's that? That's a piece of a broken nail head. That's nice. Okay, I'm not injured, so that's something. Okay. Okay then, we will do this for now. And this thing is at 100%. I can unplug it and leave it that way. So that will hang out up here, out of the way. And you guys get to come with me again while I have my last smoke of the stream, which will be done from the comfort of said chair right there. Yes, I built it myself. Okay, I think that's probably a decent angle. And there's a lighter in there. I need the extra though. And this particular toolbox can come over here. So I've actually made pretty good progress and cleaned up about 2 months worth of mess while I was at it. So I'm somewhat proud of myself. And I see I've still got 4 people watching at least and 7 likes. So thank you very much, cat pervert. Oh, I'm going to enjoy going back through this conversation. Clean that wood shop. Image just became magnificently clear. I have a feeling that's about the time I bent over in front of the camera and didn't realize it right away. Let's see. Billy has no sympathy for Biden. Right to only see the ideology. Hurricane. Cultural Marxism. Neo-Marxism. House. Rights. Billy, I didn't realize you were pieing my face until you mentioned it. Oh. And it's obviously been a while since I made any content because I keep forgetting one of the most important things that I do on the channel. Oh, that's a little close. Back up, weirdos. I shouldn't call you guys weirdos. That's AC's thing. AC being Angry Cops. Another YouTuber that I like watching. It's amazing, actually, the weird connections that came out of one particular YouTube channel that I happened to watch one day. And if you guys don't remember it, and I do believe it's still going, though I don't watch it for one big reason. Because Matt, I don't know if I ever did know Matt's last name, Demolition Ranch. But I started watching Vet Ranch because of the good work they were doing. And really enjoyed it when it was Dr. Matt. After a while, of course, he ended up leaving, or at the very least, way scaling back his participation, and went to Demolition Ranch, which from there I discovered Brandon Herrera, Scott from Kentucky Ballistics, Garantham, though Garantham had been suggested to me a few times before because I was interested in firearms. Forgotten Weapons. Actually, I'm not sure if I started following Gun Jesus or AK Jesus first. And I'm really, really wondering why they haven't ever made an actual collaboration video together. I know they worked together on the worst AK of all time, but yeah, I don't remember anything else that they've done together. Let's see. Bleach says BLM will be discarded unless there's a murder. True. It will likely be the Alphabet Mafia disrupting the stage. Has been set a little too well. True enough. Or another group could be refugees as there is a push to escalate the war in Ukraine with NATO membership. Speaking of NATO membership, as I was listening to Styx today, he did point out that there's no way Ukraine can join NATO as it's currently set up because NATO will not accept a member that's at war. They can apply, and they almost certainly have, but they will not accept some country while it's in a state of active war, which of course left Zelensky all pissy. Yeah, and I was laughing because Bleach pointed out that it was the damn you paper towels of disruption. Yes, too many D&D references. Let's see. Billy says to Bleach, they are using active measures to provoke a violent reaction from some yeehaw so they can have a Transfloyd and a Dragfloyd murder. Bleach is asking if the door has a transom. The door behind me? No. That's just a lip in the door. And I will point out that transom seems to me to be a carpenter term. Didn't do carpentry, did cabinet making. Not really the same thing. But I'm sure if I look up the term, I'll know exactly what it is immediately. Though that, I don't believe that's a transom. I may have it wrong. Let's see. Bleach says to Billy, they always are, but there's been a lot of restraint. Tristan, why did Zelensky show up at the NATO summit in combat fatigues? Because he's playing. I'm shocked he didn't show up and play a piano with his penis. That seems to be his go-to move, to play with his penis. If he wants to pretend to be a soldier, the correct order of dress for that venue would be 1As with all the medals he gave him. Yes, exactly. At the very least, he should have shown up in some sort of dress uniform. Tristan immediately points out he should have shown up dressed like a Nork general. Yes. Bleach says he finds Zelensky's dress code odd, but he would probably look too Soviet if he dressed in a proper uniform, potentially. Billy says this would be a very niche OnlyFans channel. Dear God. I can only imagine what kind of weird fetishists, I guess. Bleach. Bleach Woodshop ASMR. And yeah, suck that sawdust. Oh yeah, you clean that one. Hi, Western Kind United. Let's see. Billy asks Bleach if he's about the latest BBC. Not another one. Dear God. Not any new news. Hugh Edwards. Hugh Edwards. That name's him. That's not the guy from Mock. No, that's Hugh. I can't remember, but he was Mock the Week host in the last season, at least. Bleach demands that Stormy tell you guys that she teases me when it's least appropriate. She absolutely does. And then she goes on about me playing with my hose. Yeah, definitely confirmed, Bleach. Western Kind United says he just took a leaf blower to his dusty PC. Very cathartic. Oof. I imagine it will be. Yeah, I remember the first time that I actually ran a blower through just one of those canned air blowers into, was it an original Xbox or a PS2? I can't remember which, but one of my friends had it, and he had animals and didn't dust a lot and smoked. And my God, the funk that came out of that thing when I went, and it just went, yeah. It's about like that, only slightly more. Stormy says she leaves me alone for 5 minutes, and this is his first wood, now a hose. Yeah, I know. Billy says it doesn't make sense to me. If there's no crime, then why did the police let it get to this point? Why aren't they prosecuting for false allegations? No raid on OnlyFans servers. The list goes on. What's this about OnlyFans? I must have missed something. Let me scroll back just a little bit. Okay, no, I don't think I missed anything. Let's see. So rough. Cheetos breeding. Yeah, okay, so Tristan asked Billy what crimes. Oh, you're talking about that Nahel M in France. 17-year-old but had to forge a passport or driver's license to get on OnlyFans. Who pays? No, okay, sorry, I'm wrong. Something else. Who pays $35K to a boy on OnlyFans that doesn't get a nude or at least a lewd, possession of which is a crime? And Tristan says, who did the what now? Yeah, Billy, I think one of your messages may have gotten eaten by the filters. Not my filters, YouTube's. I don't filter shit. I have no filter. Why would I filter you guys? Let's see. Okay, Billy finally catches up. He says some prominent BBC newsman alleged to be the suspect paying a 17-year-old boy 35,000 pounds for gay sex chicken hack. Chicken technically CP over the net. Maybe more. It makes no sense. Billy says Hugh Edwards has been outed, paying for indecent stuff from a 17-year-old. Hugh is in the loony bin now. Interesting. Bleach is amazed at Ardent wrestling with a big black tube. Now that pipe is laid on the floor. Yes. And now cat pervert is a thing. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. According to the Protection of Children Act 1978, taking, possessing, and distributing indecent images of children is a crime. Child porn. So how come no criminal charges? Bleach, I do believe I've watched Sea and Arsenal. I mean, Tau Flatermouse. If there's a gun tuber out there, I've probably watched them. Hickok 45. I've probably watched at least something by them. One of my favorite right now, and I think you would like them as well, Bleach, is Legacy Collectibles. They do a lot of stuff with Lugers. They're doing Canada rescue guns. Oh my god. There was a Dural finished PPK in one of the videos I saw recently. Oh my god, that's a beautiful gun. PK, but my god, beautiful. Just the color in that, the frame is amazing. Let's see. Billy says, Hugh Edwards' report on the WTC 7 collapsed when they had the timing blooper, the Queen's funeral, and King Charles's coronation. Tristan says, as far as I can tell, Russia is still a signatory in the NATO Partner for Peace program. Oh, Jesus, seriously? And Bleach now wants. I'm guessing you're talking about the Dural PPK. Yeah, that thing was beautiful, man. And I did find the auction page where it was sold. I believe it went for something like $2,500. But yeah, if you're in the market for guns, especially handguns, and you're in the States, you have the legal ability to import them. Look at Canada. Please rescue some of our fucking historical guns. I'm sure at least somewhere there's an Inglis Browning that has been fucking destroyed by the cops because they didn't know the fucking difference or weren't allowed to suggest that a museum should get these pieces. And I hate to be the guy quoting Indiana Jones here, but it belongs in a museum. Tristan wants to know if I do stock carving and checkering kind of woodwork. I can. Not a lot of call for it, of course. Why didn't they let Russia join NATO? I heard they applied back in the day. They would not have let Russia join, and I doubt Russia ever did apply, because NATO was created specifically to fight the Soviet Union. And, oh, I apologize, Tristan corrects me. The U.S. actually blocked their application. Really fucking stupid. Because right before all this shit with Ukraine kicked off, there was actually a really strong pro-Western sentiment in Russia. They should have been a trading partner. They should not have been... Okay, and Bleach confirms Russia was in the Partner for Peace program 22/6/94. So that's not long after the fall of the wall. Or sorry, not long after the fall of the Union. Well, that's roughly the same thing, really. Apparently after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia did apply to join. I'll be damned. But that makes very little sense. 2 years, yeah. Yeah, it was 89, 90, 91, the wall came down. And it was only 2 or 3 years later that the Union collapsed. I think it was Yeltsin ended up in charge right immediately afterwards. Dear God, that guy could drink. And there goes the chroma again. So yeah, it was definitely my dome. Gonna have to start powdering this thing. Oh wait, I have a solution. Or at least a possible solution. I'm sorry for the OnlyFans angle. Come here, boony bastard. Oh wow, it's not even cut square. Well, that's what I get for buying from a dollar store. That didn't work. G'day. Bess is going to be so mad at me. How are you? Excuse me. Oh dear. Yeah, cheap dollar store boonie hat. I'll throw you over there for now. Maybe I should just throw this thing back on. Where's the wet end? And that immediately makes it better. Yeah, okay. There we go. I'll just keep these things on. For now, at least. It's the power of my dome! I tell you. I'm not even pale anymore. I actually have a fucking tan. Like, well, okay, not much of a tan. Don't know if you can even see. Yeah, there you go. There's actually a line right there. See it? Look, it's really faint, but it's there, I swear. Let's see here. Tristan says to Billy Blogs, I think it's because the collapse of the USSR happened so suddenly and unexpectedly, the US wasn't ready to pivot their paradigms to economic engagement rather than containment. Fair. Bloody bin puffin? Bin puffin? Oh, God. Just what we need. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking bin chicken, eh? Fucking hell. I can't do an Australian accent where it's shit. Bez is going to be so choked on Saturday. If he even sees this. Please don't clip it, Bleach. And he's immediately clipping it. I would be too. Let's see. Billy, Russian leaders must be wise enough to realize, yeah, they've been under communism in living memory, in very close living memory for that matter, because, well, Putin would have grown up in the Soviet Union. I don't see Putin having any loyalty to communist ideology at all. If anything, he's probably somewhat approaching a monarcho-capitalist figure, where you can call him a dictator, but really a dictator is just a king who doesn't have any kids to inherit his shit. Russian leaders must be wise enough. Yeah, you would think this whole BRICS thing is a house of cards at the very least. I mean, India hates China. China's at war with the West. Russia is ex-communist. I mean, there's a whole pile of shit going on there. Tristan says, if I really want to tone down the color balance, all I need is a tin of Trudeau. Yeah, and also Russia was such an internal mess, there was a risk of civil war at the time. Yeah, did I just put out a cigarette? Probably. I did. Oh well. Can't get cancer if I don't smoke. This is pretty much my one vice, so. Let's see. Yeah, and Bleach has a very good point. Russia was in such an internal mess that there was a strong risk of civil war at that time. I mean, the Georgians, the Chechens, I think I don't know why, but for some reason, anyway, there was a lot of push for various parts of the old Union to be independent. That was part of the issue as well. Let's see. Angela Merkel grew up in the GDR. She was a paid snitch for the Stasi. I'm not shocked. Probably a lot of the fucking German politicians are or were. She remained sympathetic to the movement throughout her reign as chancellor. They're all frenemies. Fair. CCP is loving Russia and the West, depleting all their uses and profiting. Yes. Yes, they are. I saw something from the Epoch Times in my email recently about China's 100-year plan to take out the West. I mean, we're planning an Art of War book club. Speaking of which, Bleach, have we set a date for that? Because I've been so scatterbrained the last little while, everything is escaping me. But yeah, the Art of War, if you get a chance to read it, is definitely worth it. It's a very thin book. I can't remember what translation I read in high school, but the foreword was pretty significant. For instance, in a book probably that thick and not much more than pamphlet sized, it's basically a paperback. I would say probably that much was foreword and preamble. And they talked a lot about different approaches to war. Clausewitz was mentioned, and how the Chinese approach, because of the Art of War, is so different. And it really illustrates the difference in Western culture and Chinese, because some of the things that are considered tactically sound by the Chinese would be repugnant to most Western leaders, or at least would have been at the time that I read the book, which I think I was 14, 15, so it was about 30 years ago. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, the CCP is absolutely profiting from the war in Ukraine simply by resource depletion. Part of the reason that a lot of the Western countries are sending their old crap to NATO, to Ukraine, is because they want the excuse to replenish their supplies, so they have updated stuff that has less likelihood of failure. The cluster munitions thing really bothers me. But neither Russia, Ukraine, nor the States are signatories to that ban. So, all's fair. But yeah, the the fact that the U.S. keeps poking Putin, who is clearly restraining himself, really kind of bothers me. I mean, it's like watching a Chihuahua trying to bite a Newfoundland, and the Newfoundland is just no, knock off, no. And eventually that dog is just going to go, okay, I've had enough of you, and that's game over for the Chihuahua. Let's see. Bleach says the Chicons, I suspect, are reveling in. Oh, absolutely. I mean, half the reason TikTok is packed full of LGBTQ shit is because it's such a cultural fucking cancer. That's probably the moment I got struck on YouTube. I am already 1,000% aware I will never be monetized on YouTube. So, if you guys are watching and you're not following me on Rumble, please go over to Rumble. And, I say subscribe because I'm used to the YouTube model. If you subscribe, you're actually offering to pay me, I think it's $5 a month. I'd be extremely grateful if you did. But even if you just want to join the 50 odd people who are following me over there, I'd appreciate that. Let's see, Billy, true. At least you realize CBM are not illegal for Russia, Ukraine, or the U.S. Russia is using them from time to time in the invasion. I'm not sure what SMO stands. Standard military operations, maybe? Oh, special military operation, gotcha. Bleach, how many times have we discussed how the only thing stopping World War III is Putin? I think it's 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. The only thing that has prevented World War III at this point is Putin's restraint. Not the guy you would expect to be restrained, considering how he and Blackout's back. Holy shit, you're still going. See, that's what I used to say about Sultans. Yeah, I'm coming up on like 2.5. I'm getting ready to wrap up here anyway. But yeah, I'm impressed, to say the least, with Putin's very Western resolve or restraint to not just drop the nuke. He's got it. He dearly wants to use it, I'm sure. Well, sorry, let me rephrase. He would dearly like to use it because it would end the war so quickly, but he won't because he knows the escalation that will happen. You would think someone like, well, I mean, it's obvious Biden's not in charge. He's not compos mentis, but you would think whoever, well, actually, let me rephrase. I think that shows very clearly that whoever is actually in charge in Washington is too young to remember what it was like living in the Cold War. Or just doesn't give a fuck and figures that they'll be fine. Which is a stupid, stupid thing to think, because MAD still exists. MAD, mutually assured destruction. It still exists. If Russia launched a nuke, guaranteed the US would launch 10 in return. Wouldn't matter if they were firing it at Ukraine. But yeah, Bleach, you're absolutely 1,000% right about that. If it was not for Putin's restraint, we would already be looking at World War III. And it's already a repeat of the proxy war in Afghanistan at this point. Let's see. Bleach, the arrogance of Biden's hands is immeasurable. I still am kind of divided. I'm kind of two minds about whether or not there actually is one unified group running Biden. It feels like whoever gets to the prompter first ends up in charge, and it feels like there's really two different factors going on there. Like there's the guys who just want to maintain power, period, and there's the guys who are kind of war hawkish and really, really want to drive a fight. Let's see. Tristan, pre-World War I, Germany gave Austria-Hungary, yeah, unconditional military defensive backing if attacked. Bad choice. So, AH, Mustache Man, was confident to attack Serbia and antagonize Russia, knowing Germany would back them. It's a repeat of the World War I alliance system. Yeah. And that's a strange thing. Why you would ever offer unconditional support to someone. Sorry, did I say World War II? Oh, okay, sorry. I always think it was Austro-Hungary, but maybe I've seen it written as the Austro-Hungarian Empire or something. So Austria-Hungary. Okay. And to be fair, I'm kind of fuzzy. Yeah, you mentioned AH in. So AH was confident. Oh, Oh, I see. Okay, Austria-Hungary. My apologies. I see where you're coming from there. I see AH and I automatically think mustache man. You know, have you seen my little dog? He's got a spot under his nose and he can jump this high. And there's my second strike of the evening. Oh. Yeah, okay. I apologize for that. I got a little dumb. I know Mustache Man actually fought in World War One, but he was just a soldier. Let's see. Blackout asks, have I seen Kyle? Crow says, you're alive. This is good news. Well, you know, alive-ish. Apparently I'm so pale that I blow the chrome out unless I put this damn thing on my head. Even with a tan. Yeah, I've actually got a tan. Goddamn Celtic genetics. It's okay though, I'm a person of color. In spots. Blackout does say he thinks it was the window. It may very well have been the window when I was up moving around, but since I've sat down again and the only lights now are the floor, I believe those are LEDs. Damn bright in my eyes. The only light right now is LED, and I'm blowing out the chroma. So yeah. There, that's better. That'll work. I can actually still see through this thing too. Okay, let's look a little less like Babushka and a little more like, you know, somebody sensible. Well, as sensible as I get. There we go. It'll do for a minute. I'm only going to be here for a few more seconds anyway. Let's see. Bleach says, odd thing is, if Franz Joseph had acted in July, it could have been a regional conflict. He dithered and ruined Europe. Franz Joseph was the guy who fired the shot, I assume. Stormy's making fun of me for not tanning, but spotting. That's fair. Kanye, is that you? No, that was my Shia LaBeouf impression. Let's see. Crow, as an FYI, my project is nearly complete. Got to do some articles tomorrow, but hoping to be finished by the end of the week. Awesome. Billy is continuing a comment, I think. Let me see. I'll scroll back. No, it looks like he's just in too much risk. The East is perfect for him. Resources, ports, and a buffer zone. Fair. Kanye party. Franz Joseph ruled Austria. Okay, I understand. I'm terrible with, yeah. Well, that era of history. I'm terrible with history in general, actually. I'm fascinated by it, but I know next to nothing about it. Product of the 80s fucking school system in Canada. Let's see. Prime Knight says, had France not had a revenge boner, World War II might have been avoided. Maybe. It's kind of funny to think of the French with a revenge boner. Oh, that's supposed to be up there. And we're going to call that close enough. For the next week, you lost your trim teasing privileges. That's absolutely fair. I do need to learn my history. Crow says he's somewhat looking forward to World War III at the moment. You shouldn't be. You're in the place that's probably going to blow the hardest. I mean, your guys have sent, what was it? What was it Britain sent to Ukraine not too long ago? Was it tanks? Or was it missiles? It was missiles. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because the Americans have been kind enough to supply the cluster munitions. God. I mean, you have to laugh at this because if you didn't laugh, you'd probably go insane. And laughter is probably a slight insanity response anyway. Cruise missiles and tanks. Okay, yeah. Yeah, more sacrifices. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that our shadowy overlords are, you know, part of a death cult. Sorry, an Armageddon cult. Same thing, different effect. Anyway, guys, I am going to cut it off here. Biden sent his cluster. Biden is a cluster bleach, let's be honest. Billy is asking if I read the comment about Putin being a shrewd operator. Let me see if I saw that. Billy. I may have missed it, Billy. Okay, one of the things here, they're using active measures for violent reaction from some yeah. Okay, that's a little later. Very niche OnlyFans channel. I'm back way too far now. If he doesn't make it doesn't make sense to me if there was no crime. No, okay, that's talking about Hugh, whatever his name is, Edwards, I think it was. Why didn't they let Russia join NATO? Apparently, after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia did apply. Russian leaders must be wise enough. Yeah, there's no way Putin isn't aware of it. I think it may have been eaten by the filter as well. Unless you're talking about the comment you made about the East being perfect for him, resources, ports, and a buffer zone. Yeah. Let's see. Crow is actually hoping to just be in vaporization distance. Doubtful. You might be in Godzilla distance. In that, the pigeons in Trafalgar may become glow in the dark and start eating people. Let's see. It was the first part of the message you read out. Okay, yeah, I couldn't find the first part of that. I did scroll back looking for it, but it looks like it was eaten by the YouTube algorithm or filter or something. I don't know. Let's see. Prime says Zelensky is playing how many sucks to Hunter Creamy Center. Oh, bothersome. Another revelator. He's a smooth operator. Prime Knight 3. It's always 3. It is in fact always 3. Crow says, don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, fair. Your avian brethren might come to your defense. Anyway, guys, as I've just blown the chroma one more time, I am going to stop here. I will hang on just for a few seconds in case there's something pressing someone wants to let me know about. Bleach, did we set a date for the Art of War book club? Have we figured out when we're doing that? I know we have the hangout now on Sunday, which is going to run over my stream. Bad news, good news. And Bleach says bye. Crow says good night, dude. I'm going to bed now. Have a good one. Night, Crow. It's got to be like 10 o'clock here. It's about 1:30 there, I think. We have not, last I checked. Okay, thanks, Bleach. Tristan says, if Putin did blast London and Birmingham, that would pretty well reach UK demographics back to 1950. Look, if he doesn't drop the first one on fucking Luton, yeah. Make Ronnie Tomlinson happy again. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, everybody is done. We're all good. Thank you very much for being here, folks. I will be doing something again tomorrow. Crow says, ah, shit, better start reading it. Yeah, I haven't read The Art of War in fucking decades. So once the date is set, I've got it down. Well, actually, I have it downloaded. It's actually on this tablet. And I just haven't gotten to it. But there's a pile of stuff I want to read that I haven't gotten to. Not the least of which is actually something I won't mention because I was actually sworn to secrecy about that. But anyway, I hope you're all having a good night. I hope you all have sweet dreams, for those of you who are currently going to bed. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye. Come on. Fucking nuisance. See you guys.